Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back, all my beautiful friends from all across the vast reaches of the internet. I hope each and every single one of you is doing absolutely fantastic on this fine Tuesday morning, or whenever you happen to be listening to this podcast episode, whether that be morning, evening, or into the night. Welcome back to the Reddit Asks Us podcast, the podcast where we read and react to comments from r/Ask Reddit, our favorite subreddit. Remember, if you're listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating and also leave us that review. It helps out the show so immensely much, so if you go ahead and do that, that would be greatly appreciated. Remember, you can leave a comment this week on this week's episode, and I will read out the comments on the next week's following episode. So if you go to the description of the episode in Spotify, you don't need to have a Spotify subscription to do this. Just make an account. You can go to the description. You can leave a comment there, and I'll read out those comments out loud on the next week's following episode. We also do a Would You Rather. So after every single week we do a Would You Rather, and then I'll read off the results of the previous week's Would You Rather, and then at the end of the intro, we'll take off with a brand new Would You Rather. So without further ado, the last week's Would You Rather was, would you rather own a lightsaber or a portal gun? I mean, and these all come from Reddit, so we're sticking with the Reddit trend. This one was it's pretty simple. I don't think it has a lot of nuance to this one. I think it's just a lot of personal choice. We got to swing for portal gun. So this tells me something about you folks. Curiosity is definitely in you cats. Those you cats are curious, okay? And I'm not gonna lie, a lightsaber is cool and it sounds awesome. I feel like it would get pretty old. You know what I mean? Like after a while, it's like, it doesn't really do much other than just being kind of a laser that can cut things. But a portal gun? You know, we're going to the universe where everything is made of grilled cheese. Do you know what I'm saying? But there's oxygen for you to breathe, but yet just like everything is made of grilled cheese. Like, and just different varying types of grilled cheese. Like maybe the sidewalk is made out of regular grilled cheese, but maybe like some high-rise apartment building is made out of some like gourmet, maybe a penthouse is made out of, some gourmet level, fondue dipped, sealed and cheese fermented for the last 2,000 years type level grilled cheese we're talking about. So there's levels to this, okay, guys? There's definitely levels to this. Last week's episode was, what was the cheapest thing you've seen somebody do? Let's head to the comments. So first comment comes from DM. What's going on, DM? Look, I don't want to get political or anything, but I have the perfect one, and I think it speaks for itself. I saw a house with a Trump Pence sign, but the P and the E were crossed out. So were crossed out. So Trump Vance. Wait, what? I'm so confused. Trump Pence, but the P. Oh, the cheapest thing. Oh, I see. So they just... Oh, on Pence. I was thinking on Trump. I was like, what is going on? It's Trump. But no, it's on Pence. That's actually, not gonna lie, that's actually kind of smart. I mean, we're not going to get political here, and I'm not trying to, compliment this person on their political views or anything. Of course not, but I just find it so funny how someone who sat there and looked at it and they were like, I've got just the idea, and just goes in with a Sharpie and fixes it. It's kind of funny how Vance is like the exact same amount of letters as Pence. It both ends in CE. That's actually kind of that's clever. Okay, I'll give that person some points for the cleverness. Okay, and you know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this, but I think it was probably. I know this is a very small demographic, but I'm gonna go and say that this was probably a woman Trump supporter, because I just don't think a dude is coming up with that idea. The dudes in the Trump camp, I don't even think those guys can spell. Okay? I told you guys we're going to get political. I'm sorry. I don't want to offend anybody's political beliefs, but you know what I mean? Some of those videos you see on Instagram of some of those people at the Trump rallies, I'm like, oh, geez, the reflection of the American educational system is, it's not working very hard. It's not really going to show much for itself, so, but again, I don't want to generalize, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings with their political views, because that's just not what we do here. But I feel like that's just like, it's a woman's touch who can notice that kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I honestly think even after someone's like girlfriend does that, a dude's just gonna walk up to be like that and be like, "Why'd you cross out my sign?" Be like, Can you read it? Like, do you know what it says now?" Be like, "Well, yeah, it's like crossed out though." It's like, oh my goodness. Okay, we're just gonna move on here. Okay, I thought I was gonna explore with my dating, but I realized that no, I can't do it anymore. I need to be with somebody who can spell. I'm not here to complain about anyone's political views, but like, buy a new sign. It's not that hard. Yeah, dude, and they like give those signs out for free. I swear to God. I swear to God, they give those signs out for free. Like, you go to a rally and there's people just handing them out, you know? Next one comes from Niels. I've never been to a rally, okay? I'm a Canadian. I've never been to a Trump rally. I've never been to any political rally, okay? But I've seen videos, you know, just going off of what I've seen on Instagram and YouTube. Next one comes from Niels. What's going on, my favorite plural human? Hey, Luke, as for this episode's title, I once saw someone using eraser scraps to erase some pencil lines instead of a normal eraser. Are erasers that much money? Has the eraser market shot up recently? Like, is this what it's come to? You know, I know there's been some inflation going on here, but that's definitely a shrinkflation going on. Like, that's, you know, we're using eraser scraps. But there's got to be a better way. Like, just go to the teacher and be like, "Hey, do you have an eraser?" It's not that hard. Like, I guarantee you there's like 3 people, 4 people in your general immediate vicinity who have an eraser. It's like you're sitting in class and you're like, "God damn it, I need to erase this," but I bet nobody in here has an eraser. There's nobody in this classroom who has an eraser. It's like, I think almost probably everybody in this class probably has an eraser. You know, it would shock me if there wasn't at least one person in your little, you know, radius of people, your little diameter there, that could loan you an eraser. Even just your professor or your teacher, like, or your instructor. Most of those people, it's kind of their job, you know, to have an eraser. Like, if I went over to a teacher's desk and be like, "You have any erasers in there?" The teacher was like, "Nah, I don't really keep that kind of stuff on me." It's like, what? You don't write stuff down? You're literally a teacher. Like, the worst red flag a teacher could possibly have is just opening the teacher's desk and there's just nothing in it. It's just empty. Empty teacher's desk. Like, at that point, it's like, I don't even know what I would think about that. That's like, what show? Oh, that's like in Community where, it's like a Troy, where the study group is in the study room and they're all opening each other's backpacks because one of the characters thought that one of the other in the group stole their pen. So they're checking each other's backpacks, and then Troy, who's played by Donald Glover, Childish Gambino, they open up his backpack and it's just a pillow. That's like, imagine you open your teacher's desk drawer and it's just a pillow in there. It's like, I don't even care anymore. I stopped caring about this job. It's like, oh, well, based on the way the education levels have been going recently and, you know, quality of education, it doesn't surprise me. In America and Canada, okay? You want to act like Canada has some amazing education system, all right? It's definitely gone downhill. Last comment here comes from Stressed Human. Thank you for remembering me. Of course I'll remember you, dude. I feel like I remember, like, pretty much almost everybody who's commented on this podcast. I could never forget. That definitely encouraged me to comment more often. Again, please do. And I noticed that one of the other reasons why I recognize you is your profile picture is a cat. It's some meme, but I can't read what it says. But I recognize that cat immediately. I'd love to have a portal gun and see everything ever in the everywhere. I love the way you phrase that. I don't have use for a lightsaber, sadly. And you know what? Who does? Other than just like showing off, like, who really has use for a lightsaber? And it's like one of those things where, okay, you know, say you're a hunter, for example. A lightsaber would be pretty awesome because, you know, you could cut up, you know, and dress the animal and it, you know, no blood, no nothing like that. It just, you know, whatever it is, cauterizes all the wounds. But, like, it's also one of those things where if you, like, miss, you've just destroyed, like, a whole giant part of the animal that you were planning to eat. So, again, like, that's like a practical purpose. I'm trying to think of what to use this thing for. Other than that, it seems like if you make a mistake, it's gonna be a pretty bad mistake. Like, you can't just go back from a lightsaber, infliction. And the cheapest thing is house stitches and home relocations because hospitals are too expensive. All were simple and stuff. All major stuff was. All were simple and all were simple and stuff. All major stuff was definitely to the hospital and stuff. A lot of stuff there. I don't know if I fully understood that. House stitches? I don't know if I've ever got house stitches before. That's not something that I think that was going on very much in my house. I've never needed to get stitches though. I don't think I've cut myself. I probably cut myself maybe one time as a kid to the point where I might have needed stitches, but I think we just bandaged it up and it just kind of healed. It was on my arm, so I like... Excuse me, I don't think I needed stitches for it. House stitches and home relocations. The cheapest thing. Home relocations? I feel like that sounds really expensive. Relocating your home? That sounds like very expensive. Maybe I'm just not quite understanding the comment. Anyways, let's get into this week's episode. So before we do that, let's read off the Would You Rather. The Would You Rather for this week is, would you rather have free shows and events? So it's like any concert, any show, any event, free to get into. You never have to pay. Or would you rather have free dinners? So it's just dinners, no other meals, just dinners, evening dinners, you get free dinners. Which would you rather have? I can see the argument going both ways because dinner you obviously do more than events. But what is the drawback of events because of their price? Like I feel like if I could get, season tickets to my favorite sports, the reason why I don't do that and getting great seating is because they're so expensive. Like I feel like part of the reason why we don't do so many events is because events are a lot of money. So you have to save up for a long time. Like even going like like a decent concert ticket these days is like $300. Like you know what I mean? Like that's a lot of money for a decent concert ticket. Like nobody wants to be all the way up in the nosebleeds, you know what I'm saying? Like it'd be nice to get like, side stage seating for free. Like to all your favorite artists? Are you kidding me? If you live in like a big enough city. Dude, I feel like that one's almost a no-brainer. All right, folks, we're going to hop into this week's episode. So this one is a fun one. What's something people romanticize until they actually experience it? Now, I feel like I've gotten this a lot from my friends. Because I have a fair amount of friends who are, or who were at one point like pretty high level college athletes, and I think people can sometimes glorify the college athlete lifestyle, but both like a decent portion of the people who I've talked to who were high level performing college athletes basically hate that sport now. Like they're like, I almost never want to participate or do that sport like ever again, because it is just the grind and the constant nature of it. And it's different when you're playing a game. A game is only like once a week, something like that. Once every, in college, yeah, it's like once a week you play, and then you sometimes get tournaments. But most of the time, it's like every time that you're not in school, every second you're not in school, you're just doing training and you're watching film or you're doing something that's your sport related, and it's not always very fun. And you do that for years over years, and it kind of takes the fun out of it for you. Which I feel like that's fair. I kind of got back into playing competitively at a bit older age. I played my last year in university. I was a walk-on at my university football team, like Canadian football, American style football. And even that team, it's not an incredibly competitive team. It's not like a lot of people really get cut at all. But I just wanted to get back to it. But I feel like I enjoyed it so much because because it was just getting back into it, you know, and after I had been away from it from so long, and then I gained a new appreciation for it, and that to me I feel like reinvigorated my love for it. But I could see how if I was only doing that since I was like 18 years old and you never really got a break like outside from high school, you know, it kind of can rob the fun. So college athletics, maybe we'll put that one on the top of the board for my contribution to this. First one comes from Nowhere Man 136. Being an artist. There's a joke in stand-up comedy that I think applies to most fields of art. I used to want to be a stand-up comedian until I moved to LA and met people who really wanted to be a stand-up comedian. The amount of endless grind and rejection required from most artists is soul-crushing. This is very true. I mean, I feel like a lot of people who, and you know what? Here's my like hot take on this. But I feel like it's because we see so much sensationalism with artistry and stuff. Like, I love singing. Like, I love singing. I've been a singer my whole life. You know, been choir singer, vocal jazz type singing, musicals, plays, all that kind of stuff. I really enjoyed that side of myself. And I think, you know, for a period of time in my life, I thought like, oh, maybe I should try my hand at, like, you know, trying to be a performer and stuff. And I think that it just didn't really come naturally as something that I wanted to do as like a lifestyle pursuit. It's something that I realized, oh, I really enjoy doing this for fun, not because I wanted to make it a career. But I think that like what we see on social media is like all you see on Instagram Reels or TikTok or whatever is the person who blew up, right? Or is the person who made it, right? And it's like, that is such a minuscule amount of people who do that. And I think it causes us, and then we see all these celebrities all the time, blah, 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 blah. And I think it causes us to conflate being artistic with being a like industry level artist. I think there's a lot of passion and pride that you should take in expressing your artistry. You know, like, you don't need to be famous or well known or something to be a great artist, like a truly great artist. Like, I'm actually speaking like greatness level here. Doesn't require notoriety. It just requires you applying yourself to what you enjoy doing. And I think sometimes when people want to put themselves out there, they get stuck in this loop of like, oh, this the pressure of trying to make it in this environment. But it's like, why are we trying to make it? You know, if you really, really want to make it, you have to kind of accept the fact that you're probably going to have to put way more effort into the non-art than you are into the actual art. And that is like, that sounds whack as fuck, dude. Like, that does not sound like fun. Like, I feel like the best art is like, and the best, most creative moments you have is when you're not thinking about trying to like put it out and get a lot of people to listen to it and, you know, try to make a living off of it, you know. That's like that. I feel like that's the crappiest part of it all. Like, that's just promo, dude. And like, hey, everybody, look at me. You know, I mean, it can feel very like attention kind of thing. I mean, look at me. I do a podcast, but like, I do this because I enjoy it and I find it fun. I don't do this because I'm trying to like blow up and then act like I don't know nobody. Shout out if you know that reference. Reply from Esoteric Enigma. Yeah, at my university, the arts and social sciences were in the same college. So while I was in social sciences, a lot of my friends were in the arts, acting, theater specifically. I only know one single person I went to school with who is a working actor 10 years later. She's mostly been in things you've never heard of or in the background of things, you know. She finally got her break as a side character in a show that was known at the time. Her role was Her role was a slave master. Her role was a slave the master was assaulting. She has a master's degree in acting and a decade of grinding, and that's the best role she ever had. Wow, is a typecast. That's awful. Good news, you're finally getting your big break. It's being whipped. Yeah, it's being whipped by a slave. It's like that Drewski slit. Drewski skit. Oh no, that's awful. That's a terrible slip up there. Drewski skit. If you guys haven't seen it, you can like find it on Instagram where it's like the British. They're filming like a slave movie, and it's on like a plantation, and he's like, you know, he's acting super like how they act in those kinds of movies, you know, which again, there's a lot of problems with those movies and how people act in those movies because it kind of essentializes that those people, and it's often not actually written by people who belong to those communities. So there's those kinds of movies can be very problematic if you sometimes when you actually analyze them. But and it's like, who has the power there in that situation still, right? Like, who's directing it, who's financing it, who's executive producing it, who's acting in it, and what roles are they acting in? Where's their power? You know what I mean? So where's their autonomy? Getting a little philosophical here on this podcast today, but it's like he's like doing this like kind of very stereotypical kind of performance, caricature style performance, and then it like cuts, and it's just like a black guy with a British accent. It's like, why are we casting these guys? All right, we got actual African Americans over here. We got real descendants, and we're casting a Nigerian immigrant from whose parents are Nigerian immigrants from the UK. Can we not find anybody who's maybe a little bit more got a little bit more of the the aspect of that lifestyle to bring into it, the history, the connection to the culture? Like, I mean, anyways, very funny Drewski skit. A good social commentary there, but yeah, dude, like, being an actor genuinely sounds like it would suck. It's just dealing with people rejecting you to your face. It's like, yeah, every day you're kind of like, that was a great performance, but you actually suck, and we're going to go on and move to somebody else. Like, imagine moving your way all the way up in a, to like the last cast, and then at like the last round of casting, and it's like, we loved your performance. We think you are fantastic for this. But Hugh Jackman just opened up, so we kind of have to go with the big guy. He's got to go with the big guns. It's like, hey, what the fuck, man? Like, I just put off my whole life for this. I quit my job. You told me it was in the bag. Now you're telling me Hugh Jackman just ripped it out from under my feet? I feel like I you hear those stories a lot. You definitely hear that stuff. I'm not reading out this person's username. It's quite off, and it's not nice. Opening your own restaurant or cafe. It is an insane amount of stress, especially in the first few years. You're working yourself to death, running back and forth, putting out fires, and managing the accounting and logistics of everything. Only end up losing money. I have great respect for those in the business, cause I sure as shit could not hack it. Again, like, it's sorry. My water was screaming my name, guys. I'm so thirsty. Oh my goodness, holy crap, guys. That was intense. Whoo! Opening a cafe, dude, that again is just like, that's just so risky. Like, and especially because everything nowadays is so, like, if you're not established, like, how often do you see on the news that, like, oh, another cafe is closing. Oh, another diner is closing. It's just, it almost feels like you're getting into it just to lose money. It's like, what is a way that I could lose a lot of money? I could throw it in the trash. That's something. Or burn it. Maybe I start a restaurant business. It's like how to lose all your money and be treated horribly by guests, and not and then being in the lowest level of customer service. Sounds awesome. No, I don't want to say that it's a terrible idea for you to do that. I'm just poking fun. If you really have an aspiration to go and own a cafe, by all means, I'm more power to you, and I hope you succeed. But again, it just sounds like a stupid amount of work. It's like, yeah, I was in the back office today or last night till 11 p.m. and we netted $18. So that's great. But I don't know. Do you guys think social media makes it easier for cafes and all those kinds of things to succeed, or less easy? I feel like I always try to, whenever I'm walking, I almost never get coffee from like Starbucks or Tim Hortons or something like that. I always try to go local. I always try to find a local place, because most of the time better. And second of all, it's just like supporting local, and you want them to stay open and stuff. But it's just like I don't know. Like, do you think social media helps? I feel like I've seen a couple people blow up and their cafes blow up, and stuff. I feel like that's the biggest thing is if you're not active on social media and you have like a restaurant or cafe, you're cooked. Because the next person's doing the, you know, some kind of trend where they put ice cream in their mouth directly from the ice cream machine, and that person got like 2 million views. So it's that's pretty hard to compete with, you know. They're making dirty sodas with their feet, and that blew up. So all the foot fetish community has just swarmed that one place. Yeah, I was hoping if you could actually make it with your feet, please. I saw you guys do that online. Is that like a extra thing? I'll pay extra for that. I definitely wouldn't doubt you wouldn't pay extra for that. Oh man. But yeah, definitely sounds like just not a fun job. If you want to open a cafe, it seems like you just like that you really want to do that, cuz it sounds awful to me. Sounds like an insane amount of stress. And really not much reward. People sending back like undercooked steaks, and it's like, what are you talking about? This is literally a medium rare steak. What do you mean undercooked? It's not undercooked, my brother. What are you trying to eat? Like a piece of cardboard? Next one comes from Swabby1. Traveling for work, yeah. It's mostly hotel rooms and your on-site stuff. At best, you get to experience local cuisine, but forget experiencing anything else. This is oftentimes, too, like NBA players and like NFL players and like a lot of these sports major athletes. People are like, oh, your job seems so awesome. Like, don't you get to like travel and, you know, like see all these cities and all this kind of stuff? And they're like, I've seen the airport and I've seen the locker room of the local football team's training room. Okay, that's pretty much the extent of what I've seen from this place. And same with like traveling artists and like people who go on tour, like comedians and all this kind of stuff. It's like, I've seen a lot of airports. I've seen the city from the window. Looks really nice through the giant windows at the airport. Yeah, no, Denver, love it. Cool spot. Tarmac there? Oh, they got that shit paved. Okay, they got that shit paved down. And it's also high. Very high up in the sky. And that's about it. The local beer wasn't bad that I had in the restaurant. Can't say I really got a chance to take in the city. You know, didn't get a real whole chance to absorb the local culture, you know, while I was taking the elevator, taking the escalator, the horizontal escalator, you know, that moves you faster from one side of the airport to the other while I was trying to rush and catch my flight. Traveling for work sounds awful. Dude, when I was living out on the east coast of Canada, I used to fly back fairly often to Western Canada, where I'm from, and it sucked. That was like I flew probably maybe 3 times a year, maybe more, maybe a little bit more, like give or take. And it was awful. Like, it was terrible. There's just this, and like, you could shower in the morning. You could do your whole morning routine. You can get to the airport, get on that flight, and by the time you land, you feel like total dog shit. No matter how short or long that flight was, you feel like you need to go to like a biosecurity hazard chamber to just completely sanitize yourself. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking, you know, level 3 security medical facility where you're getting sprayed and hosed down by, you know, probably the harshest pesticides known to man. You need like a fucking IV, you know, you need a blood transplant and a plasma transfusion or blood transfusion, and, you know, maybe a couple organ transplants. You feel like you need to peel off a whole entire layer of skin. It's awful. Traveling sucks. I'm like, doing that for work sounds even worse. I'm like, cramped seats on airplanes and just the smell in there is, Oh, and the ear, it's so dry. Yeah, I get nosebleeds on airplanes because it's so freaking dry up there, and I get like headaches and congestion because of the change in altitude, dude. Yeah, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. It's like, oh, that none of that stuff has ever happened to me, man. I think that might just be you. I think you might have maybe you have a condition or something you need to look into. Next one comes from Gray Pyramid 7. I used to do music festival photography. People thought it was so cool, but in reality, you're running from photo pit to photo pit through crowds that often think you're just trying to shove to the front and get pissed with a bunch of heavy, expensive gear. Just to pause in the story, I've been at music festivals and been aggressively pushed when I'm trying to leave. It's like, bro, you can take my spot. I'm trying to get out of here, dude. I'm trying to leave this crowd. I'm actively making things easier for you, and you literally just shoved me. It's crazy how aggressive people get. It's like, dude, we're supposed to be here to have a good time. It's like, yeah, let's party. Fuck this guy. Ugh. Let's have a good time. I'm all peace and love. I love everybody except for this fucking guy who just tried to walk past me, you bitch. You boom. Just fucking clocks him in the face. Like, what the hell, man? I thought these were supposed to be like good vibes places. Yeah, with a bunch of heavy, expensive gear, you only get the first 3 songs, if that, to shoot. Sometimes it's raining or dusty, and then you have to get worried about ruining your gear, and the deadlines are absolutely insane, so much more. I have some amazing photos, but I also don't remember how much of the bands, how I actually shot sounding, how they sounded, because I had heavy-duty earplugs in, and I was focused on getting the shot, not listening to the music. I mean, this is one of those things where it's like the presentation looks just so good, but what went into that and getting those kinds of things just is next like one step below torture. It's like, yeah, I almost suffocated in a mosh pit, and people grabbed my camera off of my neck and stomped on it, and they were like, "It's 2026, man." It's like, okay, I don't really see what the year has to do with you destroying my camera. It's like, let's party, man. Let's let loose. It's like, you can let loose. I have a job to do. Okay, I'm working right now. It's like, just let go, dude. These are just possessions. They're just things. It's like, okay, that's fine if, that if you are either a nomad and you own absolutely nothing, or you come from $1 bajillion and the only reason you're here is because you're here on your, dad's financial account firm's dime. Like, yeah, it's easy to not really give a shit about possessions when, you own everything. That's pretty easy to not really care that much about that stuff. I met a guy recently actually who got his camera destroyed, and I felt so bad for him. I was like, bro, that's actually absolutely devastating. And he doesn't have enough money to buy a new one. So it's like, yeah, until I have enough money to buy a new one, I am not a photographer anymore. Like, shit. Reply from Development Feisty. When I worked for LA Weekly, my editor said I was the only photographer who wasn't always bothering him about photographing concerts. I told him I had no interest in fighting other photographers for the prize of getting to deal with the bullshit you have to deal with as a concert photographer. I've done a few concerts, but it was either because I was friends with the owner of the theater and was given special access, or the concert was part of a larger story I was supposed to be covering. Yeah, dude, like, yeah, you just kind of have to, you got to let it go. That's one thing you should let go, is being the concert photographer. Next one comes from Opposite Courage 8671. Living off the grid. Sounds peaceful until you realize how much modern life is basically held together by plumbing, electricity, and grocery stores. Dude, if you watch any of the, like survival people too, like, most of those people are pretty honest about, like, yeah, I couldn't survive if I was just straight up foraging. Like, I bring shit. Like, I got protein bars in my backpack, okay? There's no protein bars up in, the Arctic. Those aren't just gonna naturally take. Oh, I found the protein bar tree. Like, it's not really how it works. It's not. You're not gonna get your You're not going to get your fuel. It's like, yes, I found a giant piece of bread, a giant loaf of bread. How convenient for me up in the middle of nowhere in the forest. It's like, yeah, it's, or like weapons. Like, imagine if you had to build yourself a bow and arrow. Like, come on, dude. There's no way. I don't think like 90% of the people on the planet can just build a bow and arrow just straight up, just right now. Like, come on, dude. Like, there's no way. There's no way. You might have kind of an idea of how to do it. There's no way, dude. You would probably come close to... You would probably eat some poisonous fucking berries before you'd be able to finish that bow and arrow. You'd be cooked. I mean, yeah. Living... I wouldn't want to live off the grid, but that's why it's, like, important to go camping. Just, like, go out in nature, you know, and actually spend some time, you know, off the grid. I feel like that definitely recharges me when I'm, you know, going camping or spending time out in the wilderness, you know, doing some remote type stuff, like stuff that where there's like no cell service or anything. You know, you do bring stuff, but and you do make it a camping travel trip, but it's not, you know, we're not we're not scrounging for berries, you know what I'm saying? We're not fighting tooth and nail for the last little bit of you know, of rabbit. We're not fighting for a grouse that you killed with a rock. That's not really how things are going too much on this trip. I'll bring my little tiny shotgun with me, and we'll catch ourselves a bird. We're not licking the bones of the fish here, if you know what I'm saying. Maybe we'll go one more. Again, I've been cutting these episodes short because my life has just been stupidly busy as of right now, guys, and it's been absolutely insane. So. Again, I have to pre-record an episode because I'm going to Nova Scotia this week because I'm going back to Halifax, the city where I went to university, and I'm getting my university degree. Guys, I'm graduating from university. I'm done university, and I'm actually getting my degree. So that is happening on Monday of next week. 1 week from now, I will be a university graduate. So, yeah, I'll have to pre-record an episode later this week so you guys won't feel left out. One more. Let's see. This one is number one. The last one is from JFay75. New Year's Eve in Times Square. This quite possibly is one of the most romanticized things in like all of like media and celebration in North America. It sounds like a literal hellhole. What is so good about standing in a crowd of like 10,000, 30,000 people and watching a giant ball drop? Like, it's awful. I think as you get older, as you're an adult, and you spend time in giant crowds, like it's like okay when you're a kid. Some aspect of it is exciting, but when you're an adult and you're spending time in giant large crowds of people you don't know, my first thought is get away from me. Like I might get aggressive. Like, you are invading my personal space, okay? I don't know you and you smell funny. So please move away from me. Like, you smell like mothballs. All right? I'm not into it. All right, folks. We're going to cap it off there for this week's episode. Thank you all so much for tuning into another episode of the Reddit Asks Us podcast, the podcast where we read and react to comments from r/AskReddit. I'm your host, Luke Dick. Remember to leave us a rating, leave us a comment on this podcast. I'll respond to those comments, and leave us a review. Love each and every single one of you. Peace out. Love you. Goodbye.